So Newsweek's here writing all about how Kamala Harris is suddenly trailing. So the left is flipping out. I mean, can you imagine the long faces at MSNBC? Well, we got to show you some of them because, you know, at MSNBC, they like to think that there's no possible way anybody, I mean, and they're so absolutely blind to reality that even in the final days of Joe Biden's disastrous decline, when everybody was pretty much out admitting, I mean, like everybody, like even CNN, right, who witnessed it themselves on the debate. You had Joe Scarborough over at MSNBC trying to tell you that this was the best Joe Biden he'd ever seen, that Joe was, you know, on his game in ways that had never been seen before, to which I really wonder, wow. I mean, Joe Scarborough, maybe you're the one losing your marbles, all right? Anyway, here's the MSNBC reporter who like looks through all the polls and is trying to give you the side that you want to hear, right? If you're an MSNBC viewer. So imagine how hard it's becoming for him. Let's watch.
Biden almost all year was trailing Donald Trump, so that's changed Harris ahead by a few points there. Now, if you're a Republican, what you can take solace from here is this is not unfamiliar territory for Donald Trump. Take a look here at the last two elections, 2020, 2016. The polling at this point, coming out of Labor Day, beginning the fall rush. In 2016, Hillary Clinton led on average by 5 points. Of course, Donald Trump won in 2016. And Joe Biden had an even bigger lead on average Labor Day 2020. Donald Trump didn't win that election, but certainly in the Electoral College, he came this close to doing so, Anna. So Trump has run from behind before, certainly.
And what kind of Electoral College paths are there then?
Yeah, so let's take a look. Pardon me. I love the Road to 270 map, and now we get to use it pretty much every day between now and the election. 7 key battleground states. They are in gray here. 6 of these 7 states already went for Joe Biden in 2020. Democrats are trying to hold on to those. The 7th is North Carolina. That went.
So you see, he's got sort of a different set of metrics, shall we say. And he's going to want to try and pump the idea that somehow Harris is ahead. And he's going to not want to look at some of these betting markets and the Republican polls. But let's hear them out, right? What do? I give you all sides. Unlike them, you'll hear them all here.
For Trump in 20. That's the state where Republicans are playing defense on this list. Now, if you take a look at the paths, the easiest path for each candidate will start with Kamala Harris. All of the state polling is very tight, but the best polling, relatively speaking, for Harris and the Democrats has been in, we talk about them all the time, these Great Lakes states, Big Ten states, whatever you want to call them, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Now, if Harris could win those 3 states, just for the sake of argument, turn them blue there, exactly 270 electoral votes for her. Now, if she slips up, Pennsylvania in particular is one Republicans of these 3 think they have a good shot at here. Let's say she were to slip up, Harris did, and lost Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the biggest of all the swing states, 19 electoral votes. Harris would have to compensate by winning at least 2 from the Sun Belt here. And for Trump's easiest path quickly here, it's to get Pennsylvania, it's to hold North Carolina like he did in 20, and it's to win back Georgia, which he very narrowly lost. That would get him to exactly the magic number.
Okay, it's going to be a sprint of the next 2 months. Steve Kornacki, thank you.
Yeah, I think there's a real good shot. Just looking from all the data that we're seeing thus far, Georgia, for example, where you're seeing Donald Trump ahead in a lot of the polls, North Carolina, where he's ahead, even in the Fox poll, where they don't necessarily, we've talked about that. It's like long faces when they see that he's doing well. Well, they had a new poll out recently. He's been very, very critical of it, but he's even ahead there. And then you look over here at Nate Silver's probability rating, and he's, you know, putting this into sort of a metric where he's judging the popular vote and the Electoral College vote. And his point is, while Kamala Harris might actually win the popular vote, the Electoral College probability edge is going to Donald Trump, 52.4% to 47.3%. Again, because this is a numbers game where you really need to win these Midwestern states. And look, guys, you know what? He's got a darn good shot. I'll go back to the Emerson poll. This was taken, mid last month, and it shows how tight it is there in Pennsylvania. But that you look at the Trafalgar one, it's got him 47 to 45. You look at all of the polls. She has yet to win a single solitary poll in Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania is a biggie. I think there's 14 electoral votes. It could be 19, actually. Forgive me to all of you political aficionados that know that off the top of your head. But it's definitely, forgive me, it is 19. I knew it. See? Yeah. I corrected myself midair. It is 19. So she would need to win those two southern states, likely North Carolina and Georgia. He would need to win those along with Pennsylvania, and then you're looking at the path to 270. So it's really just kind of amazing to see. And you know what? It could happen. It could happen because as we look at what's going on in this country with inflation through the roof and no real plan to fix it, I mean, other than putting the Fed on speed dial, at which point you do actually print more money and therefore actually increase inflation, right? It's one of the reasons why I keep saying, make sure that you're in on the action, whether it be gold, as we've discussed, whether it be 76 Research, my own research company. I co-founded this with a longtime investor who spent more than 20 years running mutual funds, billions of dollars on Wall Street. You may have seen him on the program, Rob Horton. I'm so proud because we just published results. You can get the 76 report. You can get all the insider portfolios. You can actually get you can get all of them if you sign up for our Founders Club. But just take a look at this. This is the Income Builder portfolio. It's one that I do suggest people who really want to make sure that they've got some income coming in on retirement, that they look at these stock picks that we have. These are the top 5 holdings. The median return on the portfolio up 16%, 15. It actually was 16%, I think, when it was all said and done, versus the S&P up 6%. So listen, guys, there are ways to help yourself. I encourage you to look at them. Let me put the banner up on the screen just so you can see 76 Research, again, my financial research company that I created because, you know what, I care about making sure that people have a better shot in all of this. I mean, I have too many friends and too many viewers that have not had the opportunity to partake in this great boom that is the equity market, that is the stock market. So if you're like, oh my gosh, like how do I do this? Where do I start? What stocks do I buy? I mean, sort of the basic thing is, right, you should be in an S&P 500 index, low cost ETF. But then if you want to start getting creative and if you want to look at opportunities out there, that's when I say, listen, take a look at the Founders portfolios, Founders Club, I should say, because then you get all the portfolios, or just for $1 a month, $1 a month. It's like our gift to you. Go sign up at the 76report.com, 76report.com, or 76research.com. It's $1 a month for the first 2 months. Then it goes to $9.95. You get a bunch of stock picks. And listen, this is an opportunity right now. When I see the market go down, what does Trish Regan do? Trish buys. In fact, I was buying earlier today.